Chapter 12. The Helena Bay, Hong Kong. Astrid walked into the dining room at the Helena Bay, Hong Kong's historic private ladies' club, and Isabel Wu waved to her from her table by the window. She strolled towards Charlie's ex-wife a little trepidatiously. It was only the third time they were meeting. The last time Singapore hadn't gone so well. Astrid, thank you so much for agreeing to meet me for lunch. I know it's your last day in Hong Kong and you must be so busy, Isabel said, getting up from her chair and giving Astrid a peck on the cheek. Thank you for inviting me. I love coming here. Yes, it's a special place, isn't it? There are very few places like this anymore. Astrid took a moment to look around at the other smartly dressed ladies having lunch together. The dining room, with its Queen Anne furniture and botanical prints covered the walls, was a throwback to another era when Hong Kong was a British Crown colony, and this was the exclusive bastion for all the views of high-ranking officials and expatriates. It was also civilized. Astrid was relieved by such a warm welcome from Charlie's ex-wife, and glad to see Isabel looking so well and so chic in white jeans, a rose-coloured cashmere sweater with a quilted vest thrown over it. She looked the epitome of Hong Kong old money. What have you been doing since you got here? Astrid hesitated for a moment. She didn't think it would be a good idea to tell Elizabeth that she spent most of the week planning her upcoming Hong Kong wedding, and yesterday Charlie had taken her to see the breathtaking new house he had built for them in Shek O. Not much, really. I've just been decompressing. It's good to be away from Singapore, you know. Yes, the past few weeks must have been very hard on you. I'm so sorry about your grandmother's passing. She was a great lady from everything I know. Thank you. As I told you in my note, I was very close to my Amma. In fact, she used to bring me here for afternoon tea once a month, so this place holds many memories for me. My grandmother used to take me to afternoon tea as well. One of my earliest memories, I think, is of having tea with her at the Raffles in Singapore, but soon after that she stopped going out. So she became a recluse, Isabel asked. Yes and no. She didn't go out much, but that's because she felt that the standards had slipped everywhere. She had very exacting standards, and she didn't much care for restaurant food, so she only went to friends' houses, the ones that she knew had good chefs, or she entertained at home. She liked to have people over all the time, and she was very social and up until the end of her life. Sounds like a character. All the women of her generation, like my grandmother, were characters. My grandmother was known as the Hat Lady. She had the most incredible collections of hats, and she never left the house without one. The waitress came over and took the orders after Astrid ordered the cream of asparagus soup. Isabel looked across the table at her with an almost embarrassed look. You know, I have to confess, I've been so nervous all morning about this lunch. I'm still so mortified over what I did when I was in Singapore. It's fine, really. I'm just happy to see you so well again. Those women whom I scolded, one of them a nun or something. Is she okay? I have such a strange memory of that day because I remember everything, you know, but I just had no control over my actions. A nun? Astrid didn't know what she was referring to. I remember the look on her face when I threw that soap. Her eyes got so huge, and she had Tammy Faye levels of mascara on. She was wearing a nun's habit. Oh, you're talking about the Dowager Sultana of Periwick. She was wearing a hijab. She was fine. The soup hardly touched her. Don't worry. It was probably the most thrilling thing that happened to her in decades. Well, I appreciate your understanding, and I really must thank you for taking such good care of my daughters during that difficult time. Don't mention it. Chloe and Delphine are lovely girls. Isabel paused for a moment and looked out the window at the view of the hillside park. It was apparent to Astrid that she was going through a spectrum of emotions. Soon you will be their stepmother. You'll be spending much more time with them, and I'm actually glad they will have you in their lives, not just their crazy mother. Astrid reached out and put her hands on over Isabel's. Don't say that. You've done such a great job raising them. You're their mother, and I'm not going to try to be any sort of substitute mother. I only hope that in time they will come to see me as a friend. Isabel smiled. Astrid, I'm so glad we are having lunch together. I feel like I finally know who you are now. After lunch, as the two of them stood at the entrance of the Helena May on Garden Road, bidding farewell to each other, Isabel asked, what are you going to do now? Some shopping at Central. Can my driver drop you off somewhere? Well, I'm leaving Singapore in a few hours, and I'm going to meet with Charlie and I'm going to meet Charlie first. I think he's at the house waiting for me to make some decision about the decor. The new house in Sheka. Oh, I'd love to see it sometime. After all, Chloe and Delphine are going to be spending half their lives there. Of course, actually, if you're free, why don't you come with me right now? Well, I wouldn't want to intrude, Isabel said hesitantly. No, I'm sure it'll be fine. Let me just text Charlie. Astrid quickly shut off her text. Astrid, hey, just feeling it with Isabel. It was great. Charlie, I'm so glad. Astrid, Isabel would like to see the house. Okay if I bring her? Sure, if you don't mind. Of course not. See you soon. Let's go, Asher said, looking up from the phone. The two of them jumped into the back of Isabel's chauffeured Range Rover and sped off. As they made their way around the south side of Hong Kong Island, the landscape began to change dramatically as the dense skyscrapers that cascaded down the mountainside gave way to picturesque bays and ocean vistas. The winding highway took them through Repulse Bay and its crescent-shaped beaches hugging the coastline as they passed Deepwater Bay and the village of Stanley. Finally, they arrived in Sheko, a historic fishing village on the southeast corner of Hong Kong Island, which was also home to one of the world's most exclusive neighbourhoods. Charlie always longed to live here, but I would never let him. I prefer being close to town. I would never live way out here in the middle of nowhere. I'm too much of a city girl, Isabel remarked as they pulled up in front of an imposing metal gate with an attached gateway. There's no one there, the chauffeur said. Oh, we don't have it staffed yet. Just enter 11011 into the keypad, Asher said, glancing at the instructions Charlie had texted her. The gate slid open silently, and they proceed down the long driveway to the house. Rounding the corner, the oceanfront villa, cantilevered on a rocky cliff, came into view. This place is so Charlie, Isabel laughed as they drove up to the imposing series of contemporary structures designed by Tom Kunding, clad in steel, limestone, and glass. Your house on the peak is more traditional, isn't it? Astrid inquired. I'm not sure where you heard that, but it's classical Palladian, built in the 20s. I have it done in French provincial style. I want it to feel like a manor in Provence. You must come over the next time you're back. I've heard that it's one of the most elegant houses in Hong Kong, Astrid said. They stepped out of the car and entered a large courtyard dominated by a reflecting pool. Here the walls of the main villa were made entirely of glass, allowing for a seamless transition between the inside and outside. Entering the house, Asher was once again taken aback by the spectacular ocean views from every vantage point in the house. In the great hall, an immense window perfectly framed a tiny island just beyond the coastline, and stepping into the living room, a wall of windows opened into the terrace, where an infinity pool ran along the entire side of the house, its horizons line melding into the South China Sea. As Charlie came round the corner to greet them, Isabel brushed herself up. Charlie, you've outdone yourself. You finally have your dream house by the sea. I'm glad you approve, Izzy. We're still quite a way from being done, and we've just received the first big pieces of furniture. But here, let me show you Chloe and Delphine's private wing. After giving Isabel a tour of the daughter's room, the three of them entered the dining room, where an immense vintage George Nakashima dining table had just been delivered. Standing around the free-form structure that resembled an immense piece of driftwood, Charlie looked to Astrid. What do you think? Is it too Pacific Northwest? Astrid considered the piece for several moments. I love it. It goes great under the Lindsay Oldman chandelier. Phew, I'm so relieved, Charlie said with a chuckle. Isabel stared up at the bronze light fixture that resembled blown glass bubbles budding from the stems of an intricate tree branch, saying nothing. In her former life as Mrs. Charlie Wood, she would have vetoed all of this, but now, as the three of them headed for the front door, she simply said, I do think Chloe and Delphine will love it here. Well, you will always be welcome, Asher said, her heart soaring that Isabel was being so agreeable about everything. It had been such an unexpected lovely day. As they stepped outside into the courtyard, Astrid's phone pinged, and she saw 4 text messages suddenly pop up. Ludovine Dolan, went to pick up Cash after school, but found out that the father already got him. Felicity, where are you? What time are you getting back tonight? Come straight to Tysdale Park. So much happening with the house. We need you. Oliver, aren't you friends with the police Aloys of Liechtenstein and the poet Prince Faisal Dubai? Can you connect us? Call me, we'll explain. Ludovine last spoke to Mr. Chan, asked if he needed me to help with Cassian, but he wants me to take the rest of the day off. No idea what's happening. Asher put her phone back into place, only feeling a bit sick to her stomach. Why the hell did she have to go back to Singapore? Chapter 13. Bondi Beach, Sydney. Are you fishing on the dock? Nick asked when his father picked up the phone. He could hear the crashing waves along the seashore. No, I'm doing the cliff walk from Bondi to Coogee right now. I love that hike. Yeah, it's a good day for it. You know, your mother invited Daisy, Nadine, Lorena, and Carol to Sydney. The whole gin gang's here, and it's such a toilet seat down invasion. I need to get out of the house. The ladies are busy hatching some kind of plot, I think, involving Tysdell Park. That's the reason I'm calling Dad. It looks like things are moving far too quickly with the house. Your sisters seem really primed to sell it to the highest bidder, and I don't even want to tell you what those developers have planned. Does it even matter? Once we sell it, the new owners can do whatever they want. But I feel like everyone's losing sight of the big picture, Nick argued. Tysdell Park is a unique property and we need to make sure that it's preserved. I mean, I'm at the house right now, and even just looking out the window into the garden, the rambutan trees are bearing fruit and they are flaming red. There's nothing quite like it. I think you're being too sentimental, Philip said. Maybe I am, but I'm just surprised that no one else cares about this house in the way that I do. Everyone just sees dollar signs while I see something so rare that needs to be protected. Philip sighed. Nikki, I know for you this house was like some neverland, but for the rest of us it was a bit of a prison, living in a palace with no fun as a kid. I grew up with nothing but rules. There were so many rooms I wasn't even allowed to enter, chairs I couldn't sit in because they were too valuable. You have no idea, because by the time you came along my mother was a very different person. Yes, I've heard the stories, but surely you must have some good memories. To me it's just one gigantic headache. Don't forget, I was shipped off to boarding school practically as soon as I could walk, so it never truly felt like home to me. Now even the thought of having to come back to Singapore to deal with all these property folks fills me with dread. Do you know how many ACS old boys have called me up out of the blue to invite me to lunch, to golf, all these nonsense? People I haven't seen in eons are suddenly like behaving like my best friends because they can smell the money. I'm sorry that's happening, Dad, but let me ask you something. Nick took a deep breath as he prepared to make his pitch. If I can somehow raise the money, would you consider delivering your 30% stake and joining me and possibly Alistair to buy everyone else out? If you give me a little time, I know I can find a way to make it financially worthwhile for us to own the estate. The line went silent for a moment, and Nick wasn't sure if his father was upset or if he was just on a particularly arduous stretch of the hike. Suddenly he spoke up. If you care that much about Tysdell Park, why don't you handle this whole house sale? Do what you think is best. I'll give you permission to act as my proxy, power of attorney, whatever they call it. In fact, I'll sign over my 30% stake to you right now. Really? Nick said, not quite believing what he was hearing. Sure, I mean, it's all going to be yours one day anyway. I don't even know what to say. Do whatever you want with the house. Just keep me out of it, Philip said, climbing alongside the edge of a beautiful cliffside cemetery overlooking the South Pacific. Nicky, I'm over the cemetery by Bronte now. Will you make sure? Yes, Dad. You told me many times before you want to be buried there. You want to have a view of the humpback whales doing backflips for all eternity. And if they run out of lights, you'll find another oceanside spot, New Zealand, Tasmania, any place but Singapore. Of course, Nick laughed. He hung up the phone and I found Rachel staring at him curiously. That sounded weird from what I heard. Yeah, it was one of the weirdest calls I've ever made. I think my father just gave me his share of Tysdell Park. What? Rachel's eyes got huge. He told me he'd sign over his stake and I can do whatever I want as long as I leave him out of it. What's the catch? There's no catch. My dad has never been interested in financial matters at all. He really would rather not be bothered with it. I guess when you've been pawned with it, Rachel shrugged. Precisely. I still can't believe how easy it was to convince him, though. I thought I was going to have to fly to Sydney and grovel on my knees with the old father sharing you or hands. You're the biggest stakeholder now, Rachel said excitedly. No, we and this gives us the leverage to stall the wedding more and buy some time. Do you want to go downstairs and bring the news to your aunties? Nick grinned. No, time like the present. They left their bedrooms and walked over to the drawing room, where Felicity, Victoria, and Alex were still sitting unusually silent. I have an announcement to make, Nick said boldly. Felicity had a peculiar look on her face. Nicky, we just got off the phone. It seems we have a new offer on the table. I have an offer to propose as well. Well, this is a very unusual offer. It comes from someone who wants to preserve the house entirely and not build a single new structure on this estate, Alex said. Nick and Rachel exchanged looks of really? And they are offering more than those Xeon people? Rachel asked dubiously. A great deal more. The offer is for $10 billion. Nick was incredulous. $10 billion? Who on earth would want to pay so much money and not develop the property? It's some fella from China. He wants to come and see the house tomorrow. China? What's his name? Rachel asked. Felicity frowned. If I recall correctly, I think Oliver said his name was Jack something. Jack Ping. Nick's put his hand on his forehead in dismay. Oh God, Jack Ping. 24 hours later, Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So she's the queen. No, Kitty. No, Kitty. She's the mother of the current Sultan of Peru. So she's the queen mother, but she's called the Dowager Sultana. Oliver explained through his headset microphone as they rode through the helicopter. So I have to curtsy to her. You certainly do. She's as royal as it goes. And remember, only speak when you're spoken to. What do you mean? I mean, you're not allowed to speak to her. The Sultana initiates the conversation and gets to do all the talking. You simply keep your pretty mouth shut until she asks you a question. And if you have to leave the room for any reason, which you really shouldn't before she does, but if you feel the sudden urge to vomit, make sure to walk out of the room facing her. The sultana must never see your ass, so you have never to turn your back on her. Understood? Kitty nodded diligently. I understand. No talking, no vomiting, no ass backing. Now, as I said, I don't want you to expect too much today. This is just an introduction and a chance for Her Majesty to become acquainted with you. So you're saying she's going to give me a knighthood today? Kitty, women don't give knighthoods in Malaysia. This is a whole different system of honours here. The Sultana can bestow a title whenever she pleases, but don't get your hopes up that it's going to happen today. You sound angry at me, Kitty said with a little pout. I'm not angry, Kitty. I'm just speaking over the chopper noise. Truth be told, Oliver had been on the verge of a nervous breakdown ever since Kitty had demanded her ultimatum, and he was anxious for everything to go as planned today. He had way too much to lose if it didn't. Trying to placate her a bit, he continued, I'm just trying to make you understand that these titles given by royals like the Sultana are real honours. They honour truly deserving people who have done a tremendous amount of good for Malaysia over a lifetime. People who build hospitals and schools, who start companies that support entire towns and provide work to thousands of locals. These honours mean a great deal more than Colette's title. All she did was spread her legs for some positive dimwit. The helicopter swooped over the Kuala Lumpur skyline, passing the iconic Petronas Towers as it started to descend. So this is where the Sultana lives? Kitty asked as she peered out at the exclusively leafy neighbourhood of Bukit Tungka. This is her little crash pad in KL for when she comes to the capital. She has resided all over the White House, on Kensington Palace Gardens, a villa overlooking Lake Geneva, and of course the gigantic palace in Berwick. Oliver informed her as the chopper touched down on the great lawn. The two of them jumped out of the chopper, and a uniformed officer awaited them on the lawn. Welcome to the Istana Al Noor, he said, as he led them towards the humongous white palace that resembled a wedding cake. Entering through the front door, Oliver and Kitty found themselves in a vast reception hall with 9 gigantic pyramidal chandeliers that descended from the coffered gold leaf ceiling like an upside-down version of the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. This is her little crash pad, Kitty remarked. Oh, you have no idea, Kitty. Her home in Berwick is twice the size of Buckingham Palace. They were shown into the drawing room, which had dramatic black marble floors and walls painted in a shimmering crimson hue. The space was filled with priceless Peranakan gilded wood antiques mixed with fantastical clawed linen. Bronze furniture facing them was a vibrant pink and yellow triptych of Andy Warhol paintings depicting the Dowager Sultana in her younger days. Wow, this was not what I was expecting, Kitty said, clearly in awe of her surrounding. Yes, the Dowager Sultana was definitely a hell-raiser back in her 70s. Oliver nodded as they both sat down on a backless velvet settee. Next to the settee was a round Lalana table laden with gold-framed photographs of the Sultana posing with famous personage. Kitty peered at the picture, recognized the Queen of England, Pope John Paul II, Barack and Michelle Obama, Indira Gandhi, and a woman with enormous pale blonde hair. Who is the blonde woman? She looks so familiar. Is she some queen? Kitty asked. Oliver squinted at the picture and then let out a quick laugh. No, but she's adored by many queens. That's Dolly Parton. Ah, Kitty said. Suddenly the double doors opened and 2 honor guards in full dress uniform entered. Flanking the doorway, they clicked their heels at attention and tapped the base of their long bayonets on the marble floor twice in unison. We need to stand, Kitty, Oliver suggested. Kitty quickly stood up and smoothed out the wrinkles on the front of her ankle-length Roxanne skirt and then adjusted posture. The guard on the right side shouted sternly, Sama, Maku Kiba Pandeka. They tapped their bayonets on the floor again as the Sultana swept into the room in a flaming violet silk kebaya, followed by 4 attendants. Her head was covered in a matching violet, blue and white headscarf, and she resembled Queen Mary covered in precious jewels from the waist up. Pinned in the middle of her hijab, right above her forehead was an enormous sunburst diamond bridge on a 45-carat pink diamond in the center. On her ears were a pair of diamonds and pearl girandole earrings, and around her neck was what appeared to be a 10 or 12 heaping necklace of nothing but diamonds, and more diamonds. Kitty's jaw hung open at the sight of his queen mother ablaze in diamonds, and she dropped it in a curtsy so deep Oliver thought she was going do the limbo. Oliver bowed, smiling. Oliver Sim, what a pleasure. The pleasure is all mine, ma'am. May I humbly present Mrs. Kitty Bing of Shanghai, Los Angeles, and Singapore. It is an honor to be in your beautiful country, Your Majesty, Kitty blurted out nervously before remembering that she wasn't supposed to speak first. The Dowager Sultana pursed her lips and stared at Kitty for a brief moment, saying nothing. She sat down on a throne-like chair, and Oliver and Kitty took their seats again. An army of maids entered the room bearing gold-lacquered platters filled with Malay desserts and steaming pots of tea. As the maids began serving tea to everyone, the Dowager Sultana smiled. Oliver, come, don't be shy. I know how much you love on there. You know me too well, Oliver said, helping himself to one of the bright green rice cake balls stuffed with palm sugar and rolled in grated coconut. Now, what brings you to this neck of the wood today? Well, Kitty has recently become enchanted with Malaysia, so since we were in town, I thought it was only fitting that she met this country's greatest living legend, the Dowager Sultana being. Oliver, you make me sound like a fossil. Tell me, child, what do you like about my country? Katie stared at the Sultana blankly. Until today, she had never set foot on Malay soil, and I didn't know a thing about the country. Oh well, I love the people most of all, you may say. So warm and hardworking, Kitty said, thinking the half a dozen or so Malay maids that work at Clunky Park Road. The Dowager Sultana pursed her lips again. Really? I was not expecting to hear that at all. So most people tell me how much they love our beaches and our satay. So do you intend to put down some roots here? Well, if I can find a palace as beautiful as yours, I'll be very tempted. Why, thank you, but this is not a palace. This is just a house. Kitty's husband, Jack Bing, is one of China's premier industrialists, so they are highly interested in investing in Malaysia. Well, we have such a wonderful relationship with China, and I adore that first lady of yours, the Dowager Sultana said, picking up a piece of onde with her fingers and chewing on slowly. Oh, you've met her, Kitty said excitedly, forgetting royal protocol again. Ah, why, yes, I have. I gave her an audience at my palace in Peru. What an accomplished woman, and what a voice. Now tell me, Oliver, how has your dear grandmother been since I last saw her? Her health is excellent, ma'am, but I must confess her spirits have been rather low lately, and as you know, my great aunt Su Yi passing has affected her greatly. Kitty, feeling bored, began to zone out on the photo of the Sultana with Michelle Obama. She was trying to identify the designer of Michelle's red dress. Was it Isabel Toledo or Jason Wu? She felt sorry for the First Lady. That poor woman was obligated to only wear American designers. The Sultana continued to speak. Ah, yes, it was such a beautiful funeral. Did you not enjoy my son's eulogy to Su Yi? It was remarkable. I did not know that the Sultana spent a year living at Tysrell Park. Yes, when he was doing a special course at the National University of Singapore, Su Yi was kind enough to host him. I'm afraid he found the Malay Embassy accommodations to be lacking, and he was much more at home at Tysrell. You do know his great-grandfather was the Sultan who originally built it. Forgive me, ma'am, I had forgotten. No wonder he would feel a kinship to the place. If I might venture to ask, was Su Yi ever conferred with a title? Kitty's ears suddenly picked up. To my knowledge, she wasn't. I believe in the 1970s, Agong, whoever it was back then, I've lost track, tried to honour her, but she graciously turned it down. She was already Lady Young and never even used the title. Alamak, she would Su Yi need a title? Alamak, what would Su Yi need a title for? There was never any doubt of her position. I mean, she already had Tysrell Power. What more do you need? That's true, Oliver nodded, stirring his tea. Tell me, Oliver, what is going to happen to that spectacular palace now? The Sultan asked, her brow furrowing. Oh, it's anyone guess. My cousins are entertaining an avalanche of offers every day. I hear there's someone new coming in with even a bit higher bid. We're in the billions now. I'm not surprised at all. If I was younger, I might have considered it as a home in Singapore myself. Of course, it will never be the same without Su Yi, but whoever ends up living there will be tremendously fortunate. Oliver sighed dramatically. Sadly, though, I don't think that will happen. The house will surely be torn down. Oh my goodness, how can that be? The Sultana placed her hand to her chest in shock, showing off her 58-carat blue diamond ring. Kitty's eye followed the solitaire like a cat distracted by a shiny toy. The land is far too valuable. All the developers have put in bids, have ambitious plans for Tysrell Park, and I don't believe that would include the old house. But what a travesty that would be. Tysrell Park is one of the most elegant estates in Southeast Asia. The Rose Garden and the Grand Saloon, such a sophistication. Someone needs to rescue it from the greedy developers. I couldn't agree more, Oliver said. Kitty listened to them with fascination. This was the first time she had heard anything about the old house. Well, Oliver, surely you know someone who will want to buy the estate and maintain it to the same standard as you did. What about the new Chinese Duchess? What's her name? Who's moved to Singapore to save the chimney? I met her at the funeral. Kitty looked at her too in alarm. You're referring to the Countess of Palliser, Oliver said, glancing at Kitty uncomfortably. Yes, I want. You know her? She should buy the house, then she would become the undisputed Queen of Singapore, the Dowager Sultana declared, popping another sweet coconut ball in her mouth. After the audience with the Sultana, Kitty remained silent during the helicopter ride back to Singapore. As she alighted from the chopper, she turned to Oliver and said, "This house the Sultana was referring to. How much are we talking about?" "Kitty, I know you heard what you heard, but the Dowager Sultana lives in a bit of a fantasy land. Colette would never buy Tysdale Park, and why not? I know my cousins, they would never sell the house to her." "Oh, really? You said Colette would never be at your auntie's funeral, and yet there she was." "You said Colette wasn't a threat, but then she bumped me off the cover of Tattle. I don't think I can believe anything you say anymore." "All right, I mean, I'm not the Oracle of Delphi, but there are some things that even Colette could not make happen. For one thing, there is no way she can afford that house." "Really? How much is it?" "Well, I'm told the highest bid now is $4 million, and I know Colette doesn't have that kind of money on her own." Kitty frowned. "She doesn't, but she has a trust fund worth $5 billion. She could borrow against the trust if she really wanted this house. And something tells me she does. She wants so desperate to be the Queen of Singapore, Queen of the fucking universe. Look, Kitty, if it will stop you from losing your mind from the ridiculous rivalry, go ahead, try to buy the house. I'll even go to my cousins with your offer for you. But just so you know, in order for youngs to regard your offer serious, you have to come up in a bid that wipes everything off the table clean. So we offer them $5 billion. That's not going to work. You have to realize something, Kitty. You are a mainlander who's married to a mogul with a very big but very new fortune. You haven't yet gained the degree of respectability that these people value. If you want to steal Singapore's most prized estate away from his snottiest family, you have to go do it in a big way. You need to shock and awe them with your money. How much will it take then?" $10 billion. Kitty and how did we? Okay, then offer them $10 billion. Oliver was taken aback by how quickly she responded. "Are you serious? Don't you need to talk to Jack first?" "I'll write her about my husband. You are about getting me that house, and you better get it before that little snake Colette comes around with her tongue out. If she steals this house from my nose, I will never forgive you, and you know what that means," Kitty warned as she got in her waiting car. After waving off, Oliver took out a cell phone, punched a number in his speed dial. "Hello," a voice answered. "It worked. It bloody worked." Oliver sighed in relief. "That Kitty girl is going to buy the house." "You better believe it, Auntie Sarah. I will kiss your feet. I can't believe this was that easy," the Dowager Sultana Perk said. "The minute you start talking about Tysdale Park, she forgot all about the stupid title. You are absolutely brilliant." "Was I had no idea you could act like that." The Dowager Sultana giggled like a school. "Oh my goodness, I haven't had this much fun in a long time. That ridiculous formless way you were speaking to me, if I might venture to ask. Ha ha ha. You sound like you were enjoying an Austen novel." I was biting my lip to stop from laughing, and I have a horrible neck now from wearing all those damn necklaces. I thought I was going to be strangled by diamonds. Ha. If you hadn't been dressed like that, Kitty would not have been in such awe of you. She's been spoiled with jewels herself, so we really have to lay on the shock and awe. Shock and awe, indeed. Did you like what I had my guards chant before I made my grand entrance into the room? Oh my god, I almost peed in my pants. I was thinking, why are they chanting this Singapore Children's Day song? Remember when your mother made you sing it to me one day when you came home from school? You were so proud to sing a song in Malay. Now, did you like my mention of China's First Lady? I did. Very appropriate, Auntie Sarah. I've never met her before. You deserve an Oscar, Auntie Sarah. Are you big time? Just send a jar of those pineapple tarts that your cook makes, and we'll call it even, Auntie Sarah. You're going to get a whole crate of those pineapple tarts. No, please don't. I'm on a diet. I was so nervous during my performance. I ate too much of the coconut puffs today. I have to force myself to go to my granddaughter's Zumba class in the ballroom now. Thanks for listening.